Bien, tú. Hello, everybody. Welcome to round 67 of the WBC Talks. It's Friday, Champions Friday. We're going to have, here it is, Gerry Cooney. But first, let me introduce 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗗. She's the director of the WBC University, and she has a great message for you. 𝗧𝗔, welcome.
Hi, Victor. Hi, Mauricio, Gerry. It's Friday again, and I'm very positive about it because I can't wait for Saturday and Sunday right now. Okay, today we are going to talk and to share an idea what makes us a little bit confused because confinement is, we are by the lack of confinement. And sometimes that gives us a little fear, okay? In some countries, this stage has already begun. And the only idea of taking the streets again gives us hope, but at the same time give us fear because we don't know how we are going to act, okay? We still are very afraid of get contagious and the consequences that we can have, okay? We are almost or many times afraid even of thinking of dying or with our inner stage. We don't know what to think of all this, that it really took us by surprise, okay? But we need to be thinking that we need to go back to reality, to the new normality, okay? It doesn't mean we are not going to be afraid because this new normality is going to make us go out in the street, maybe wearing masks and with new routines, but we have to get used to that new normality, okay? It's normal if we are afraid because as humans, we have been in this stage many times before, but as ourselves, like our generation, never experienced this before. So it's okay if we feel a little bit afraid right now with all this situation. There are some small recommendations for this new stage. We need to learn to live without attachment. We need to focus on reality. We need to recover our illusion, and we need to be able to transform the current moment into an opportunity. Let's remember that opportunities increases our possibility of freedom, of being better persons, and many, many other things. We need to adapt to this new situation. We need to improve our resilience. And remember, we have learned many tips during these talks about how become or how do we need to act in those hard moments that we are all experiencing. Since I finished my reflection of the day, I'm very looking forward for this panel and have a very great weekend, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗗.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now let me introduce Mauricio Sulaiman. He's the president of the World Boxing Council. Mauricio.
Hello, Victor. Hello, 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗗. Champ. So happy to see you. You're looking great.
Thank you.
I'm very, very excited to be in this one-on-one with you.
Great.
A couple of weeks ago, we were in a very nice, interesting panel, and just to be in close communications with Gerry Cooney is very special. Welcome to the WBC Talks.
Thank you. It's great to be with this. I go out like this. I don't know if I'm going to rob the bank or just take a walk. I think that's from all the shots I took during the years. But anyway, it's all good. Listen, we're going to get through this. She was terrific. And we got to fight. We're fighters. We got to fight through this. And we got to be positive. We got a great family. I just came back from vacation. And I can't wait to come to Mexico. What's going on, bro?
We're waiting for you. We're waiting for you here. Larry Holmes said first trip he's going to do, he's going to come to Mexico, and maybe we all do it together and release
Slowly I turned. Slowly I turned. You say Larry Holmes? What? Yeah, I love to be with you guys anytime, Mauricio. And the WBC, you guys are the best.
Thank you so much, Gerry. And what have you been doing this time? What
You know,
3 months, 4 months have given you?
You know, I have my own gym here, so I can train my kids. I got a great couple of kids who like to box. They're athletic. I just got off my radio show. I'm still on Sirius XM twice a week. And I take a lot of walks with my wife, and I exercise. I got a gym in the basement. I'm watching movies. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm just keep myself busy writing, you know, just being busy. You know, we got to get through this somewhere. We got to talk about it, like was said, and we got to become free.
Do you have your book?
We have a book.
Have you?
I have a book.
You have
My book is out called Gentleman Gerry, a contender in the ring, a champion in recovery. That's been a lot of fun, a great experience to write. And, you know, back in those days, your dad was, you know, we were close with your dad. I loved your father. And we did a lot of things with him too. I had the Holmes Cooney fight with the WBC. It was a great time. And so I got a chance to spend about 5 years writing the history about what went on with me and my ups and downs and the mistakes and the people that I was with. And, you know, Don King, in my opinion, back in them days wasn't the greatest thing for me because he owned every heavyweight except for me. And I wasn't going to sign with him, so he kept me out. So those guys are fighting 3 or 4 times a year. I was fighting once a year. I needed you to help me out back then, bud.
So, and your book, where is it available? In Amazon or?
Amazon, Barnes & Noble, local bookstores. It's a great book. It has, from the beginning, what happened to me as a kid. I grew up in a really, really rough, tough alcoholic family system, a lot of neglect, a lot of told I was no good, a failure. And I fought through all of that and got to #1 in the world. So it's a great story and you win at the end. So it's exciting.
It's called Gentleman Gerry.
A contender in the ring, a champion in recovery. Yes.
Okay.
Also, Mauricio, some part of my life, I believe what happened to me is in 1981, I was fighting Kenny Norton in Madison Square Garden. I was ranked #1 in the world. And that night I knocked him out in 54 seconds. And I think from my upbringing or whatever it was, I started to drink heavily. And 13 months later, I fought Larry. I got stopped in the 13th round that night. And I was to keep drinking. May 11th, 1988 was the last time I had to put a drink in my mouth. I'm sober over 32 years right now.
May 11, 1988.
No, May 11th, May 11th, 1981 was when I fought Kenny Norton. I fought Larry Holmes June 11th, 82.
I thought you said your last drink, when was it?
My last drink was April 21st, 1988. I put it down, I got myself together, and I picked up the pieces and moved forward, and my life has been great.
How did you manage to give up? What made you, who told you, what happened to stop drinking?
Well, you know, I like that story. And you know what? I couldn't get fights. The fights was on, the fights was off. And I started to get out of the pain with alcohol. And the pain went away when I was a kid. You know, we all carry this big hole around in us. When I had that alcohol in my body, that went away. I fit in, everything was cool. I felt great. And the next bunch of years I went at it. And the night I knocked out Kenny Norton, the green light went on. And I thought, well, whether the pressure got big or I felt like I deserved it, and I started to drink heavily. And it took me a lot of years to get out of that. And I hope I get the opportunity to help somebody going forward who wants to become champion.
Because we're planning a series of talks to help those who are going through difficult times.
Right.
This time being with so much uncertainty, with so much pressure, with financial concerns, drugs and alcohol are the escape, and it's a big concern And I would love to do some of these talks because you talking about it is a huge example that you can get out of it and be successful and change your life for the better.
Mauricio, I want to just tell you, I want to take my hat off to you. You do so many great things. That's all we hear about from the WBC with Jill. You're right there. You're helping people. You're in the front line. And I always want to be with you. I always want to make it with you because of that. Because I was a kid that I sat in the back of the room. I was afraid to raise my hand because at home I got slapped when I raised my hand. And that was wrong. And my job today is to let people know you don't have to keep doing this stuff. And that's why I really applaud you all the time for the good works you do. To all the fighters that are struggling, all the programs you have going on. It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you so much. How is it like to be a radio host? That serious radio program is your life. You make a great program, and it's just spectacular. How does that make you feel? How do you do in that?
Well, I got to tell you, Mauricio, unfortunately for me, you still have a TV face. At my age, I got a radio face now. No more TV, only the radio. And I love it because I love the game. I love what's going on. I love the competition. These last bunch of years, boxing is really coming together, and it's a very exciting time. And I have a passion for the game. I follow it. I read it. I know all the guys. And so I get to talk about it. How can you beat that? I went to an interview about 12 years ago to Sirius XM about a fight. And I was telling the president, I said, you ought to bring Larry Holmes and me in, and we'll break down the big fight. He said, forget about Larry. We want you. Can you start Monday? And that's how it started for me. And I've been having a great time ever since about the game, the good guys, the mistakes they're making, the quality of the teachers is kind of lacking right now. All the great trainers have passed, and these young kids are coming in teaching a watered down version of boxing. You have to, you fight a guy like Fury, you can't stay outside in his comfort zone. You got to get inside and bang his body, make him uncomfortable, take that real estate to him. And we're missing a lot of that now. But hopefully it'll come back around. And listen, I'm very passionate about this game. I know a lot about the game. And sooner or later, I'm going to get in the game and start training some guys.
That would be special. I just wrote, I write every week in a weekly column, and I just wrote about Father's Day, and that's where I went to see the history of the sport and the relationship of the father and the boxer in the corner. Right. And it's recent, because the fighters who used to fight then became the trainers of their sons.
Right.
Before there was, it was usually kids going to the gyms because there were very solid gymnasiums,
right,
with great trainers, and they would become the father figure to the kids. But it has evolved so much that so many parents are the trainers and chief corner, chief second in the fights. If we go to the immediate, what is happening right now, Lomachenko, Floyd Mayweather, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, there's so many fathers who are the key in the corner or on the structure of a fighter. But that's because there's not a solid gymnasium structure,
right,
like it used to be before.
Well, and I agree with that. I also think that, and there's a lot more cases where father and son doesn't work. And you remember Howard Davis, he was an Olympic gold medal winner. His mother died while he was away at the Olympics. He was a terrific fighter. I think that there's a certain period of time that you need to make that break from that close father-son sometimes and move on. And I think that needs to be done. And, I'm not saying I'm not in the corner with those guys, but you have to get along. You got to calm it down. You got to be right there with the kid. If he needs for you to push him, you push him. If you need to back off, that's a very fine line that we got to learn about. And I love to see it. Kenny Porter and Shawnee Porter. I love to see those guys. You know, and listen, Lomachenko is a phenomenal fighter. So there are some great cases of it. And I love that picture up there right now. Man, I was looking good back in them days.
Oh, look at that body. Unbelievable. And so what kind of movies are you watching? You are serious or movies?
I'm on Netflix. Listen, I'm on everything. We got 6,000 channels. I don't know what to watch next. I'm watching series. I'm watching movies. You know, we watch Love It or Fix It. I don't know if you saw that show. It's about selling house.
Love It or Fix It?
Yeah, it's a show about you know, people want to sell their house, so half of them do it, the rest of them.
Oh yeah.
It's a great show, and there's a lot of movies I watch, and you know, I've got so many of them going on. But you know, listen, you can only watch so much TV too. You know, I'm getting a chance to spend time with my wife. My wife actually goes out a couple of days a week. She works as she's a office manager for the Women's League in Summit. So she gets out and works in a great job, and I get to be alone for a while. I'm with my kids, and so listen, this is a hard time for us, but we got to fight through it. We got to get those big fights back on. I was just on television. You know, are we going to see Lomachenko against
Teofimo Lopez.
Teofimo Lopez? We're going to see those great fights. Wilder, Fury. I know we're going to see Dillian White is fighting at over there in Europe, in England. Povetkin. So listen, there's so many fights waiting for us. How are we going to run them all? You know, I mean, it's frustrating, some bit of it, but there's no other, we can't do anything else. We got to be very careful.
Victor, please send Jill the link. She's going to join us in a little while. What is your favorite boxing movie?
Well, I mean, coming up, I love to see Rocky. Rocky was a great film. I also love Gentleman Jim, Corbett. There's so many great films. $1 Million Baby. I don't know if you ever saw that. That's about, oh my God, what a great film. You know, when I watched that film, Clint Eastwood got what fighters feel like so close. It was a great experience. So listen, I love the game. I love the Duran was a film. Mickey, oh God, so many.
The
Mickey Ward and Tor Gaddy was a great movie show. You know, listen, there's a lot of great films. There's $1 Million Baby right there with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah,
phenomenal the job he did on that show. But you know, we're thinking about great fighters and great fight films. What about Mexico and the great fighters? Julio Cesar Chavez. I mean, phenomenal guy. I mean, you got to put him in the league with the top fighters of all times. Roberto Duran's another guy. You know, Canelo Alvarez right now is on the path to get up there. So, you know, you really got to, you know, a lot of great fights coming up, a lot of great fighters. And I mean, I love when I was over there with your dad. Well, Holmes and I weren't getting along too good. That was before the fight.
Look at this. Look at this picture. Do you have it on the screen?
Listen, you know, Mauricio, I don't know if you know this, but Riddick Bowe was trying to have a fist fight with Lennox Lewis. And I was lucky to be able to get into the middle of them to prevent that from happening. And Lennox Lewis thanked me afterwards because there's no place for that. You know, Riddick Bowe was angry at Lennox Lewis for whatever the reasons are. And I was able to divert that in that moment to break them apart. And that was a little scary, but it was all good. It was a great time. Wilder, Fury, phenomenal. And listen, Joshua Fury, I mean, Dillian White's fight. You got so many great heavyweights right now coming again. So that's very exciting too.
The heavyweight is back. The era, we had your era, which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then we had like a lull in the action.
For years.
For years. And now it seems it is a reality that there are many heavyweight great fights that can be made.
Oh, we got Joe Joyce is fighting 𝗧𝗏𝗡, and you have some younger guys coming up that are like at the B level right now. But in another year and a half, they're going to be right up there. We're going to see all these great fights, and to be a part of that, even if it's only on the radio, I love it.
And who are your if you were to rank, let's rank your favorite current top 5 heavyweights.
Well, you know, I'll tell you something. It's unbelievable for me to think about Tyson Fury, how you cannot get inside to his body. He's got 7-foot arms. You get inside, you bang the body like we did in the old days. And then his hands drop and you turn it over. But I got to say, he's the guy. He figured out Wilder, walked Wilder down, knocked him out. You know, Joshua's got clipped on the chin. He's been struggling a little bit. He's coming back. I don't think he's ready yet. You got, I think, I'm going to tell you the truth. I think 𝗧𝗏𝗡 is one of the guys to be reckoned with. Who else we got out there? We got Dillian White is another top guy that's been waiting in the wings. I feel a little frustrated for him because he's kind of screwed around, I feel, some ways, not getting those fights he had. And you got Parker in Australia. You got a lot of great fights out there. It's hard to run. I mean, a year ago, 2 years ago, you couldn't name these guys. Now it's like they're becoming household names.
Andy Ruiz, Luis Ortiz.
Yeah, Andy Ruiz is got to come back and he's got to prove himself again. I feel so bad he put on all that weight and slopped himself around the ring. He's such a great talent. And but he should be another guy that should get the title again at some point.
Yeah,
Well, you know, Ortiz is a great guy, but he's up there long in the tooth.
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food is whatever my wife is cooking. I have a great wife. We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. And I'm an Italian. I like chicken parm. I like, you know, I guess, you know, I like everything. I mean, I like ribs. I like, you know, I'm a meat eater for sure. I like it all. My daughter's a vegetarian. I eat her food, hamburgers with no meat in it. I eat everything. Whatever's on the table, I can eat it, bro.
Now vegan, it's a big thing, the vegan world, huh?
They can keep that there, bro. I need something substantial when I sit down at the table, bro.
And I was thinking, who was your inspiration to become a boxer? Which fighter was that you really wanted to imitate, to be like?
You know, Mauricio, I want to tell you that when I grew up, my brother, growing up in that household, my brother left the home at 15. And a couple of years later, he was 18, he went to a gym. And I got to go 3 days a week to go watch him. I love my brother. And I put the gloves on and I went to the gym. I was hitting the bag. I felt good. I said, can I box that guy? But the guy had like 6 years experience. He knocked me around the gym. So I went home. I said, forget it. I ain't doing this. 2 days later, I went downstairs in my basement. I worked a bag. I went back to the gym. I asked if I could box that kid again. The kid couldn't do that to me. I won the state championships. And so that's how I became a fighter. And what I found out was boxing helped me to express the anger I was feeling for what was going on in my house. And I put my picture in the paper when I was 16. Every time on the Golden Gloves, I was on the back page of the Daily News. And then obviously I saw Ali Frazier fight. And I thought, wow, I got to become a fighter. I love those guys. And, you know, so many great fighters, you know, Victor Valley was the greatest. Carlos Ortiz, those are my guys. Willie Pep, Sandy Sadler. I mean, Bob Forster. I mean, we could name them all forever. And I got to spend every year in the Hall of Fame up in Canastota. And I rubbed elbows with those guys every year. I know the stories of Marciano. I know so many great fighters up there. And I got to hang around with. And so boxing's deep in me, deep.
What a great Hall of Fame, it's Canastota. What a great and such an important part of the boxing community is to keep Canastota and the Hall of Fame.
You know, Mauricio, one of the greatest times for me up there, I mean, there's a lot of great moments up there, is when we do the parade on Sunday morning before we have the announcements for who's getting inducted, and to drive around that town with the thousands and thousands of people that are up there lining the streets is the greatest time. And I'm lucky enough, I get out of my car and I go over and I shake the people's hands and the kids, and we have a great time. And so, yes, it is a truly, I've met, when you look in the dictionary and you look up boxing, all those guys at the Hall of Fame is in that dictionary. And I've got to be with all those guys, and man, what a treat that has been for me.
And Ed Brophy is a good man.
Ed Brophy's a great man. I mean, he started from scratch. Carmen Basilio, we miss him. We miss that guy. Jake LaMotta, so many of the great old fighters have gone. We miss your father.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you've really done a great job, you know, following in his path and extended it even more. So, yeah, I mean, you know, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Kenny Norton, Jimmy Young, all those guys, that was boxing. And unfortunately, we have to pass. So my deal is to let's get the most out of life we can. Live to the fullest, love, be intimate with my wife, enjoy life, travel, meet people. That's what my thing is. And I've been so blessed to have that personality that likes to meet people. I love being around people.
Tell me about Randy, your partner, Randy Gordon.
That pain in the ass. No, I'm just kidding. No, I love Randy Gordon. You know, Randy Gordon's another guy. He's done everything in the game. Boxing promoter, boxing manager, trainer. You know, he was a commissioner. He was
Commissioner of New York.
He did the boxing in Connecticut. He put on the fight. So he knows the game very well too. And he loves it. He loves the game. He does like 3 or 4 shows a week, different shows a week. I got a lot of other things in my life to do, but he is 100% through and through fighting.
He's a character. What a nice person. I like him very much. And both of you make a great combination.
Well,
I think your program has that magic.
You know, Mauricio, that's a great compliment coming from you, and I want to thank you for that. The only thing with Randy is that we have bet on at least 300 fights who was going to win, right? And I won 299 of them. And the only reason why I didn't win the third one, the 300th one, is because I didn't see the fight. I didn't know the guys. So,
I thought you were going to say it was a draw.
Here you go. Anyway, it's great getting together like this and talking about the world of boxing and all the things we do to make it better and better all the time, isn't it?
Look who has joined us.
Hi, Gerry.
Hey, Jill Diamond, how are you?
I'm good. I'm out in the middle of the city, but I couldn't miss an opportunity to say hello to you and Mauricio.
Wow, how great to have you on with us. And listen, and for your works too. I mean, you know, I've been telling Mauricio what a great job the WBC has done all these years before with his dad and him. And you too, you carry a lot of the load. And I'm very proud to have you as my friend.
Wow, thank you, Gerry. I feel the same. And Jose inspired us all to move forward as more than just a boxing organization.
Yeah,
but we all use our platform.
We do.
You do fabulous work.
Come on, stop it now.
Come on, you stop it.
Listen, I was just telling Mauricio, I love the game. I love people. I love my life. Did I get to where I wanted to go? No. Partly my fault, partly the boxing world's fault. But I'm here and I'm alive and I'm healthy. I saved my money. I got a lot of friendships. I got a great family. It don't get no better than that.
And nobody can flip a coin like you can.
You're so funny. You're too funny. You're way too funny.
A great moment. That was a great moment.
Well, tell us that story, Jill, because that coin is certainly a special part of the Hall of Fame whenever it's found. Tell us the story.
Whenever it's found. Well, Gerry came in to flip a coin. It was the Charlo fight, wasn't it? Yes. It was Charlo. And he did a beautiful present. Go ahead. You tell the story.
We did a special coin.
Yes. It was a special coin.
Folks, it was a very important fight. And they didn't know which of the fights had to be the main event, correct?
That's right. That's right.
So
we're going back. Yeah.
So we had
Right.
to flip a coin, and please continue.
So we had to pick a coin, and we brought in the master of ceremonies, Mr. Gerry Cooney, and he was going to flip a coin to find out which was the main event. And the end of the story is he flipped the coin. He did a great job. Gerry, where is that coin?
I have
That's
to
the
tell
bottom
you,
line. Who
the
has
bottom
that
was
coin,
the bottom
Gerry?
line. It was given to me. They gave
Was
that
it?
baby to me. I love
Or
that.
was it?
It was. It was. I think you know.
Now we know.
I think there was two of them,
There was two of
and
them.
I wanted to get that one because it was the WBC, and I got it.
Yeah.
I
It
appreciate
was a
that.
great, it was great, and you did a fabulous job. It was very exciting. We've done a lot of exciting events. I mean, nobody does it better than the BC, that's for sure.
You
That's
got
for
that right.
sure.
You got that right.
Yeah.
You
So
So
know,
you're
are
in New
you-
York City.
What?
You're in New York City. Is it quiet?
Hey, can you see?
Wow.
I'm on the street.
Crazy.
Yep, here's the mask. So you're
Hmm.
coming to the convention, aren't you?
I hope so. I mean, I didn't know
Sure.
yet. I'm not sure if anybody invited me yet, but if I get invited, I will come. Sure.
we're doing the first cyber convention.
Right.
We are working very hard with the delegation from St. Petersburg, and we are putting together unbelievable technology in
Wow.
which every person will have an avatar. So you sign into the convention, you register, and then you become, and then you can walk into the hall, and you can be walking and then see Jill Diamond, you know, with a sign,
Wow.
and then you can
Wow.
talk to her. I mean, it's gonna be something
Phenomenal.
spectacular, phenomenal.
So are they going to be like, is Jerry's avatar going to be taller than my avatar?
Yes.
Much taller. You know, we have been receiving so many comments about the use. I mean, I'm afraid because the superheroes, their identity is what they cherish and what they protect most. Like wrestlers, the ones that have the mask, the identity, but it's overwhelming. The questions that we're getting to see if you in reality are the superhero from The Incredibles. So let's watch the screen. Is this you, Gerry? Let me see. The Incredibles. Did you see that movie?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I
You
love
have the-
that movie.
You have the picture with when he's the superhero S. That one.
Right.
Is that Gerry Cooney? Or you cannot say?
No. That's crazy,
that-
right? That was
Can
a
you do
great
that
film.
kick? Can you do that kick, Gerry?
No. You know, guys, I don't know if you know this, but about 5 weeks ago, I was out with my wife walking my dog, and I wasn't paying attention. I stepped in a hole and I fell, and I tore my
Oh.
rotator cuff in 4 places.
Wow.
So thank God I got a great doctor. I went in, got MRI, and they brought me in and fixed me up, but it's a slow mend. And so it's all good, but I'm just like got a headache in my arm all the time. And it was my left hand too, which really is terrible.
Sorry
So
about
you
that.
were walking and you
That's all right.
fell.
You know, getting better, getting better.
Sorry about that, but I'm glad it happened now and not a couple of months ago. At least you
Yes.
were able to get good treatment.
Well, yeah, and plus, where are we going? We ain't going anywhere. I mean, we went down
That's
to,
true.
just came back from the Jersey Shore. We rented a house on the beach and went down there with my family. We had a great time, great food. We went to a restaurant outdoors. We curbside restaurants, and we had a great time. Now I'm back home again. So we have to accept this for right now.
Right.
And
Right
the more
now.
people are going out and not paying attention, they're putting all of us at risk.
That's right.
And, you know,
As you
hey,
say that, I'm
listen.
going to put my mask on. I'm sitting out in the street.
I was telling Mauricio that I used to go out in the morning and say, I don't know if I'm going to rob the bank or am I going to wear coronavirus? I'm worried about the coronavirus. Look at this thing. I mean, people banking, robbing banks.
The problem is, Gerry, that even with that over your face, you'd be extremely recognizable.
Yeah.
You'll need
Yeah.
more of a disguise.
You know, Mauricio showed one picture of me from my trainer, 𝗥𝗢𝗨𝗡𝗗, and man, I'll tell you what, I look good back in them days. Now I'm old and cranky. I'm old and cranky now.
No, but you have always been fit.
Yeah. Well, you know, listen, I'm proud of myself. It hasn't always been that way, but I'm proud of who I am and what I represent. I'm a fighter. I'm an ex-fighter, and I'm proud of that. And I take myself with me everywhere I go. And so, yeah, I mean, I mess up sometimes. Like I put on 10, 12 pounds during this virus, but I'm going to take it off now, you know, and we got to stay just like you took a lot of weight off too. You're looking good, bro.
Thank you.
I thought maybe you were training for me. I don't know what got me a little scared there.
You've been through a lot. You've been through a lot of struggles in your life, Gerry, to come out in this great shape. You've done the work.
I've been through a lot of stuff and a lot of I couldn't get the fights. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do those things. Well, listen, it is what it is. You got to turn the page and get on with your life because it's not waiting for me. I can cry and complain all I want, but no one's listening.
Is that picture outside Jimmy's corner?
No, this is outside Foley's.
Oh,
yeah,
Foley's.
Which is
gone.
What's happened with Foley's?
Foley's is closed. He's hoping to reopen somewhere someday, but Foley's is closed. A lot of really good people in the community kept the staff going while the place closed down during the pandemic, but it's not going to reopen.
Really?
Just can't afford it.
Terrible.
You can imagine what the rents are by that area, by the Empire State Building. Enormous.
And that was like a historical place, wasn't it?
Yes, and I wonder what's going to happen to all those baseballs, Mauricio.
Well, we should make an effort. If he's definitely closing, I am sure we can get a partner to do a great restaurant in Mexico with all that memorabilia and be partners with him.
That's a great idea. I'll call him up. That's a great idea.
Please call him up. I know people that owners of baseball teams. They would love to have such an unbelievable collection to be part of the exhibition.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea. A great idea.
So Mauricio, what is Canelo doing? Is Canelo got anything going on?
Well, Canelo is in San Diego. He has been training. I have heard that there's a possibility of him fighting in September. So that would be a great fight to do the strong coming back of the sport. You know, September is a typical date for Mexico with the independence, September 16. So that weekend is September 12, and there was no fight in Cinco de Mayo. Now he's hoping to do September 12.
You know, Mauricio, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jill.
No, you go.
No, you go.
It's your show. You go.
You go.
You go.
Come on, Jill.
I just wanted to know if he thinks that there'll be fans by that point, at least strategically placed.
I guess it will be a limited attendance, not a full-blown, but he has come out and very bravely he said, if I have to fight without fans, I will do it. We must adjust. He's very sensible and responsible, and he understands that the fans are so desperate to see our sport back. So he's willing to do whatever he has to do to make it happen.
And well, the only thing with that is, you know, Jill, that was my question. You stole my question from me. But the only thing with that, they're paid so much money, Canelo. How do the promoters retrieve those salaries? I mean, it's phenomenal what they're getting paid. I mean, I think that's why Fury Wilder's not taking place. I mean, it's impossible to retrieve that money.
There's Canelo.
Looking good.
Yeah,
right?
Good. I think I have a bus idling by me, so let me just get off. Wait.
All right, Jill.
Gerry.
Yes.
Cynthia Conte. She sends her best regards to you.
Great.
Cynthia.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
And she would like to ask a couple of questions. Number one, out of all your fights in your career, whether you lost or won, which is the fight that you always play back in your mind?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of fights. Animal Lopez was a big fight. You know, of course, losing to Larry Holmes in the 13th round was a great. It was 115, 120 degrees that night in the stadium. And I lacked the experience. What I learned from him that night to play forward was great. So that was my biggest fight. The most surprising victory was when I knocked out Norton in 54 seconds. I mean, that was unbelievable. I just thought I'm in for a long, hard fight. And I spun him, I hit a right hand to the body, he buckled a little bit. And I said, let me take a shot here. And once I caught up with his weaving, I caught him with an uppercut, it was all over. So that was Jimmy Young.
I see that Norton in the corner and you, what a brutal knockout. That was that was your peak. That was the great moment in your career. And as you said, that green light went on and maybe the history would have been different with Holmes.
Well, you know, I think that's what happened that night, whether I thought I deserved it or I got afraid about who I was becoming, because I was told I was no good, you're a failure. And I started to drink that night, and that's when my career ended that night. Little did I know.
Yeah, there's Norton in the corner.
Yeah. And it felt pretty good for me. I'll tell you what, every time I came around, I looked at the referee. He wasn't saying nothing. It felt so good, I came back the other way. And he was out cold. I didn't know he was sitting on the rope.
Yeah, it looked like he's in the stool.
Yeah.
And the other question from Cynthia is, what are your thoughts on all the great legends? Tyson, Holyfield, De La Hoya, thinking about making a comeback into boxing? Listen,
we need to really, you know, everybody wants to make a comeback. Everybody wants to, you know, part of the reason why Muhammad Ali died, got sick, is because he missed the attention so much that he kept coming back to try and relive it. But when you get to a certain age, you can't relive it anymore. Mike Tyson was a beast. When you watch him on Instagram for 30 seconds, he looks like a beast. But his last 6 or 7 or 8 fights, he didn't look so good. And now he's 54 years old. You know, De La Hoya to fight what's his name, McGregor, that's an interesting fight, I think. I would love to see him get in the boxing ring and fight Conor McGregor. Because listen, De La Hoya lost a couple of fights. He really won. He beat Shane Mosley, I thought. The fights were so close. I love that guy as a fighter. And the other guy was, who's the other guy you talked about?
Holyfield.
Well, Holyfield is a beast. Holyfield had Mike Tyson's number back during the Olympic days. He always had him, he always only a cruiserweight. And I mean, it was phenomenal what he did, because back in that time, nobody could beat Mike Tyson. And Holyfield stepped in and did just that and kept telling Mike Tyson, it doesn't matter what you're going to talk about, because we got to still fight. Once you fight, we got to fight. Phenomenal. I love that picture right there. That's one of my favorite pictures of boxing. That's what boxing, true boxing is about. Not color, not anything else. It's about two fine men appreciating each other. That's boxing.
Absolutely.
I believe
absolutely, Gerry.
I believe that day is when they unveiled the statue of Larry Holmes and you went to celebrate and dignify. I think that's it, right?
That was great. It was all good, man. All good stuff.
Tell us about black, white, red, yellow, brown.
Listen, you know, I love that picture you just posted with Larry and I, because that's what, you know, athletics is about.
Right.
Not about color. It's not about your race. It's not about anything, what other people are saying. At the end of the day, after Larry and I fought, it was over. A year later, we got together. We get together 10, 15 times every year. That's the story. Listen, I'm prejudiced, right? Against prejudiced people. That's all. I'm prejudiced against prejudiced people. I love everybody. I want everybody to be, look at that picture there. Look at that picture. My man. Damn, I should have hit him with a little uppercut there. So, you know what I'm saying? That's the story. And it's terrible. Black lives do matter. There's a lot of, they've been going through, and the cause has been horrible. And hopefully we can, you know, clarify a lot of that stuff and make some changes.
Gerry, we're gonna do a posting today or Saturday of what you just said, okay? We're gonna post several pictures of you and Larry Holmes.
Great, love it.
Let's come up with a hashtag. How do you like it? How do we put in words the action of it's not color, it's boxing, it's athletics? How do you think it would look nice?
You know, Mauricio, I want to tell you this, right? I was very angry with him because I thought it was coming from him. He was angry at me because he thought it was coming from me. And the night of the fight, when we got in the center of the ring and Mills Lane was giving us instructions, Larry looked at me and said, "Hey, Gerry, let's have a good fight." That's the word right there. That's the end of the story right there. I was like, I thought to myself, what'd you say that for? I wanted to hit him with a hook. And then when he said that to me, we were just two fighters trying to fight it out for our families, And that's what the game is to me. How do you put that down in words? I think Jill Diamond's got to do that. But listen, life is too short to be worried about this stuff, man. We got to live. We got to live good. And that's my promise to myself from all that I've been through.
Because boxing is the perfect hub of humanity. You have Manny Pacquiao from Asia. You have Floyd Mayweather. You have Chavez. You have Gerry Cooney. You have Norton, Holmes, Ali. You have all the European greats.
Sure.
So it's the whole world meets in the center of the ring.
Right.
There's no color. There's no politics. There's no hatred. It's two fighters fighting for the family.
Yeah, that's the deal. When we're trying to save our lives, we're trying to perform to the highest level and to get over. And then at the end of the show, we shake hands and have a beer, even though I don't drink anymore.
I love what you just said, Mauricio, about meeting in the center of the ring at the end of the fight. Just beautiful. So many emotions involved and boxing. I mean, that's what sold me on the World Boxing Council at my very first convention, was walking into that auditorium and seeing so many people from so many countries, backgrounds, economic groups. It's a microcosm of what you wish the world to be. It truly is beautiful.
And Gerry, let's do an exercise, okay?
Push-ups?
We're gonna create the greatest fighter in the history of boxing, okay? So I'm gonna say 8 different categories.
Okay.
And then you tell me which category it applies to, okay?
Okay.
So we're gonna start the hardest punch, the biggest punch in the history of boxing.
You know, for me, I have to say would be Ernie Shavers, big puncher. Foreman was a big puncher too. George Foreman said I was the hardest puncher he ever hit forward against. He told Johnny Carson that, one of those guys. But yeah, I'd say Ernie Shavers was a tremendous right-hand puncher.
Okay. Jab. Who's got the greatest jab?
Larry Holmes.
Larry Holmes. Do you know the Family Feud, the program?
Yes. I was on it.
That's it. The jab, Larry Holmes is the #1 answer.
Oh, is that right? Wow, that's great.
Okay, defense. The best defense.
Wow, best defensive fighter. My God, that is a great question. You know, it's really funny. I didn't think about defense a lot back when I was fighting, but today's times, I mean, the gifted ones. You know what? That's a terrible. I can't answer that question. Who do you think?
Well, the Family Feud has been Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones, those have been the top answers.
Wow. Yeah, I think probably, like you said, Floyd Mayweather only got dropped once time by Shane Mosley. I don't know why Shane Mosley didn't open up on him. He let him survive. You know, I like, you know what, for me, I like the working guy, the guy that comes after you. I like the guy that tries to find the way in, how to open up the guy, how the guy make mistakes. So I don't really think about the fancy dance that much. You know, I mean, Ali was great too. I mean, there was a lot of great boxers. Jake LaMotta, he make you miss him a little bit, just a little bit. You know, back in those days, Ray Robinson, they didn't take the full shots. They learned. Willie Pep was great defensively. He was not mentioned.
Willie Pep,
He was
by
great.
By a few, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
how about
yeah,
the hardest chin?
I'm going to tell you something. The hardest chin I've ever seen was Tex Cobb fighting Ernie Shavers. And for 7 rounds, Ernie Shavers hit Tex Cobb with that right hand. Solid. And then Ernie Shavers got tired and Tex Cobb knocked him out. That's crazy. I mean, you got to watch that fight. I don't know. And I understand he's doing okay today, Tex Cobb, but man, he took a lot of shots from everybody.
I'm going to watch that fight. I have not seen it. I hope it's in YouTube.
Crazy.
Okay.
Well, you know, you also know that Howard Cosell quit boxing when he saw Larry Holmes fight Tex Cobb. He quit the game. Tex Cobb took such a beating all night long. It was just crazy. I mean, I don't know how that guy is still living and breathing, but he is.
Okay. Boxing in general, boxing generalship, the best boxer all around.
Oh, I mean, I liked, obviously, there was so many great fighters back in the day. Shane Mosley was great. You know, like you just talked about Roy Jones. I mean, Mayweather was smart. I mean, there's so many great guys. Willie Pep. You know, back in those days, Carmen Basilio. There were some great fighters, and they were great tacticians, smart.
Okay. Best body punch. Hook to the liver or just body punch?
Well, I don't know where I would fit up there, but I love the body punches. I was a body puncher, but listen, that was I had to get in there. It wasn't like maybe I'm going to get to the body. I have to get to the guy's body. And that's where you start to make the guy.
So
you can put yourself down, Gerry.
Yeah, we'll put Gerry Cooney.
I'll put me down, sure.
Okay. The biggest heart.
The biggest heart. No quit, right? No quit.
No quit, inside the ring.
Oh, yeah, wow. Wilfredo Benitez. Remember Wilfredo Benitez?
Oh, very well.
He was the greatest, that poor man.
Yes. You know who's one of the top in that category?
Who?
Beanie Pass. On the Family Feud. You know.
You know, I'm gonna tell you something. He was a tough guy, but that doesn't. I mean, what does heart mean? You take a beating like that all the time. I mean, I used to remember seeing Arturo Gatti's mother sitting in this 8th row, watching her son get his brains beat out. It's like, stop the fight. Will you let this poor woman? What are you inviting her for? You know what I'm saying? But anyway.
And the last category, speed, hand speed.
Oh, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was so fast. He made medicine sick, right? He was so fast, he made medicine sick.
Yes, and
he said one time he turned the light off. He was in bed before the light was out.
he was tremendous. We have people all around the world sending the best regards to you from Spain, Peru, New York, Thailand, Brazil, Ireland, Mexico, Argentina, the UK, Germany, and Uruguay.
Wow, that's so nice. Thank you.
They all praise you as a boxer and you as a leader of how to overcome adversity.
You know, Mauricio, you know, I wished that I could have reached my potential, and I had a bad start, but I think I'm enjoying my potential right now, and what I do, and the people I can touch, and the places I go, and be helpful to others. You know, I was on my own. I had to find my own way, but I can help those people, and that's been a gift for me that I've had all my life.
Great.
And just like you do, you're doing the same stuff. So nothing like it, Mauricio. Jill, thank you. Had a great
And
time.
you know,
today.
when I hear you guys talk about what happens in the center of the ring, it makes me think of a hashtag of let's put a ring around the world. I mean,
Wow.
if we could do that, life
That's
would be
beautiful.
good.
It's a beautiful thing.
You're
But
a
that
beautiful
picture with the
thing.
red jacket and Larry and I, that's the moment that captures me. That's really athletics. That's boxing,
Beautiful.
you know?
And what is that photograph on your back? What fight is that?
Where is that?
In your wall behind you.
Oh, wow. Let me show you. This is Jack Dempsey and Carpentier. And that's from
1921.
July 2nd, 1921. That's an actual photograph. And I'll tell you how I got that photograph. It was a friend of mine by the name of Greg Johnson, who was a fighter. And he was a little punchy. And he used to come to the gym. I give him a 20. I come to the gym a week later, I give him a 20. Then he started coming twice a week. Then he started coming 3-4 times a week. And I said, Greg, I can't keep this up. He said, well, if you could come up to the Bronx with me, this guy's opening the bar, I'd make me a bouncer. I got a limousine. I drove him up. I went through his neighborhood, took him to the place. And so we hung out with the guy for a few hours, an Irish pub up there. And I said, you know, you're going to get Greg a job, right? He says, no, why don't you give him a job? After all that. So he had 2 pictures, this one and one of the 2 guys' backs. So I said, well, give me those pictures. I'll get them framed and I'll send one back to you. So I brought them both home. I got them framed. I gave them all of the guys' backs. No one knew who they were. And I kept that one. It's an actual photograph from 1921.
Unbelievable. That fight was the first $1 million gate.
90,000 people.
Yes.
So
Wow.
it says it on there.
Yes,
Wow.
and
You can listen, Mauricio, if you want to borrow it sometime, I'll loan it to you.
well,
Take care, Jerry. Be
Bye.
careful.
Love you, dear.
well, we're doing next year. We're gonna celebrate the year of boxing.
Good.
So many great things, like 100 years of that fight, 100 years of Ray Robinson's birth, etc. So, Gerry, thank you so very much for opening your heart to the WBC talks. We are thrilled, happy, blessed to have someone like you in the boxing community.
Mauricio, I love being with you. It was a great time. Thank you. I really enjoyed this a lot with everybody on board, and look forward to seeing you very soon, okay?
Keep being a superhero to the world.
Thank you, Mauricio. I'll see you soon.
Thank
Bye,
you so
everybody.
much. God bless. Thank you,
you.
Jill.
Thank you.
Bye. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
¿No das el cierre, Vic? Ah.